The New York Giants recently signed Richie James Jr. It's an end of an era. Richie James Jr. was a 49ers legend with countless highlights and countless big plays. Honestly, I'm going to miss Richie James Jr. I always thought Richie James Jr. was a underused wide receiver with upside. Not a good returner. I think the Niners drafted him to be a returner and realized he's not a good returner. But I always felt that he was better than the wide receivers ahead of him, like better than Dante Pettis the whole time. For example, Richie James Jr. didn't play last year, was hurt. They just gave up on him. But he has 38 catches for his career and is averaging 18.1 yards per catch for his career. Big play guy. And now he's going to go somewhere and get some opportunities. I think he has a chance to do something. The Niners essentially replaced him with Ray McCloud. The Niners' big move on offense this year was to replace Richie James Jr. with Ray McCloud. And Ray McCloud is a better returner than Richie James Jr. No question about it. But Richie James Jr. is a better offensive player than Ray McCloud. Ray McCloud for his career is averaging 6 yards per catch. 6. One more than 5, one less than 7. Richie James averaging 18. You're bringing in Trey Lance. You don't have Jimmy anymore. You don't have to throw check down after screen after check down after screen the rest of the game. You don't have to do that. You want someone who can get down the field. And you essentially swap out Richie James Jr., who you drafted, you developed, and is a big play threat, for Ray McCloud and his 6 yards a catch and his numerous fumbles. I don't know. I like Richie James Jr. I'm sad to see him go. I think he could actually be a good player. Now the Niners are again looking for someone who could average 18 yards a catch for them. And he's gone. Well, at least there's always Travis Benjamin and Ray McCloud. I was emotionally attached to Richie James Jr. How dare you build up my hopes and then crash them? How does Richie James Sr. feel about this? Did anyone ask him? He must be devastated. Although, you know what? Maybe the Jameses are happy to get a real opportunity in New York. I don't know. Ray, you got some big shoes to fill, buddy. Big shoes to fill. Richie James Jr., good luck. I salute you.